going on? This is Wolfbrain88 from Insert Disclaimers, and we're going to be looking at the Battlefield Hardline beta. Now, at first look, I think everyone noticed that the gameplay was a little smoother and a whole lot faster. Unlike its predecessor, Battlefield Hardline is actually focusing more on team play, cooperation, and most importantly, coordination. Losing positions or too many fatalities in this game really makes you feel like saying, damn it, I should have helped out more, I should have been more. Speaking of gameplay, Battlefield isn't going for the typical soldier versus soldier thing. They switched to a more modern day take on the whole gunfight. They've gone with the cops and robbers. Now, what that basically is instead of having two armies fight, they have the police, the special response units, and the criminals. That's all. That's it. That's baseline, bottom line, that's all. And adding that, they've tailored the game to sort of meet the requirements of having cops and robbers by having game modes Heist, Blood Money, Hotwire, Rescue, and Crosshair. Crosshair is a new one, 5v5, 3-minute competitive mode. Criminals have to kill the VIP, but the VIP is extremely OP in the sense of being able to take care of himself. But it's a very, very beautiful and very challenging game mode. Now going back to things. Battlefield's key elements of destruction and free roam are still very much active. Destroying certain areas in the game make it easier for your team or squad to maintain position, grant easier access to objectives, or just make things a whole lot difficult for the other team. The beta maps we were given access to gave us a strong contrast of gaming modes. We had Conquest, Hotwire, and Heist. Now Conquest, everybody already knows what that is, that's, you know, no need for explanation on that. But the other two game modes, Heist and Hotwire, let's have a look at those. Heist, for example, is an objective game mode where criminals try to blow open a vault and escape with the cash. Meanwhile, the cops try to prevent the robbery and the criminals escape. The criminals escape via helicopter, so they most likely, or not most likely, they have to be on top of a roof or in an open area to escape. In the Hotwire game mode, it's an objective game mode where cops chase down criminals at high speeds. Think of your average movie scene, car chase, cops and robbers, that's what it's like. But it's a twist on the classic Conquest game mode at the same time because the hot-wired cars act like mobile capture points. So winning in this game mode doesn't just come down to having a high-level player on your team. You actually have to get your skills up. You could be the best driver on your team, but without some good guns to shoot down other cars or take control of other cars, you're basically worthless. Now, also, for the single player mode, they've kind of turned it into a Miami Vice type of thing. The game is set out in Los Angeles, and it's in an embroiled drug war, and Officer Nick Mendoza, or Nicholas Mendoza, has just made detective. And his partner is a detective veteran, Kai Dao. He follows the drug supply chain from the streets to the source, and it's a series of increasingly off the book cases of two detectives and how they come to realize the power and corruption and how it can affect both sides of the law. Now, when you look at the game, most people are expecting to see Battlefield's typical expansive land and a map where you have to run like 5 minutes to get somewhere. That's not specifically the case with this one. They tailored it more to be sort of urban in the way that you have to be in cities or between buildings and things like that. I think in Battlefield 3 they attempted to do that, and in Battlefield 4 it was more so. For example, if you take the China Rising DLC and how you had to fight around and in China between the buildings, it's going to be more like that in Hardline. Because obviously it's not a war of epic proportions, it's just a war between police and criminals. That's it. There was a lot of speculation as to how, well, not how, but if the game is gonna start to look any sharper or any better than it does now. you know, seeing as how it has to come out in the next couple of weeks. But me personally, the game looks fine. It can be sharpened here and there, but I wouldn't mind playing this the way it is right now. Now, if we look at the tech in the game, they've actually set up a whole bunch of stuff that, you know, seems to be real world stuff. Like, for example, they've got the laser trip mines. It's a mine you put down, it has a laser beam, and you cross the laser beam and the mine goes off. It's extremely useful, especially for people who are playing the sniper role. It's the best weapon you're gonna have to cover your ass if you're going on top of a roof or anything like that. You want to cover the stairs, set a couple of those mines off, and you're alright. You're good to go. While playing Battlefield Hardline as a cop or criminal, you might have noticed a subtle difference, or not subtle, it's a grand difference, in the way things are bought and how much they cost. For example, an AKM is $50,000 for cops, but it's only $12,000 for the criminals. And an SG-553 is $21,600 for cops, but $50,000 for criminals. So it plays out to the characteristics of real-world application. Criminals can get weapons a lot quicker and a lot cheaper than cops can. In addition to the cash price, certain weapons have to be unlocked by completing specific assignments to the character class. So you have certain weapons that are tied to certain factions, and they can't be used on the opposite faction. You know, unless you picked it up on Battlefield by killing somebody, for example. And an even better example of that is the AKS-74U cannot be bought by the cop factions until 300 kills have been made with that weapon while playing as a criminal. So it's kind of forcing you to play both sides of the game spectrum here. And each loadout in the game has one primary weapon with up to 4 attachments. So you have one primary weapon up to 4 attachments, and you have one sidearm with 3 attachments. You can have, I think it's 2 gadgets, 1 grenade, and 1 melee weapon, I think. And each faction has 4 specific classes, just like in any Battlefield game. You have the operator, the mechanic, the enforcer, and the professional. The operator is the medic of the team. There's always one on the front lines healing people and reviving teammates and things like that, and their primary weapons are assault rifles. You know, everybody knows that. You have the mechanic, and he's the engineer of the team. They fix friendly vehicles, destroy enemy vehicles, and they use carbines. The enforcer is the support of the team. You know, they hand out ammunition and things like that, and their choice of weapons are light machine guns. And the professionals, they're the sniper of the team. They specialize on relaying information to the rest of the team and recon. So if you're up for that, this is going to be a perfect class for you. Their primary weapon are, of course, sniper rifles. And with that, I guess I'm going to end this, and it's going to be all my time. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll try and update you guys on future videos, tell you all about Hardline. Until then,